Okay, so we're diving into crypto today,
Yeah.
and wow,
Yeah.
we've got a lot to talk
A
about.
lot going
We've
on.
got these institutions,
Right.
like the University of Austin
Uh-huh.
pouring money into Bitcoin,
Yep.
but then the market's like freaking out about tariffs.
Right.
It's kind of a lot to take in.
It is a little counterintuitive.
Yeah, so maybe you can help us make sense of this. Like,
Sure.
what is going on with Bitcoin being this safe haven,
Right.
but then also like super volatile?
It can be a little bit misleading to call it a safe haven
Oh, really?
because institutions are
Sure.
looking at Bitcoin for a few different reasons.
Okay.
One of them is that it operates completely independently of central banks and, our traditional financial systems. So that makes it really appealing during times of
Oh, I see.
economic uncertainty.
Like tariffs.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Geopolitical instability.
Gotcha.
And then also Bitcoin has a limited supply.
Right.
Which, fiat currency obviously does not.
They can just print more whenever they want.
Exactly. And so that
Yeah.
scarcity is seen as kind of a safeguard against devaluation.
That makes sense.
But that doesn't mean that Bitcoin is immune to volatility.
Okay, so it's not like a
Yeah.
stable thing in the short term, but
Exactly.
they're thinking long term,
Right.
like it's going to go up eventually.
Potentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that a wise strategy,
It's a good question.
like for these institutions to be putting all this money into Bitcoin?
Yeah.
I mean, we just saw like
Right.
a huge drop and then a
It's
rebound
huge swing. Yeah.
because of these tariffs.
Right. So it is a gamble.
It is a gamble.
But it's a calculated risk.
Okay.
And these institutions are betting that the long-term potential of Bitcoin
Right.
outweighs those short-term fluctuations.
Okay.
And you also have to remember that Trump had that whole vision
Yep.
of America becoming like a Bitcoin superpower.
Bitcoin superpower.
Right. And so that's influencing a lot of these decisions.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And we see this
Oh, yeah.
like with Pantera Capital.
Okay.
They're reporting a huge surge in university endowments as clients.
Wow.
So clearly, these institutions
They're seeing something.
are seeing the potential.
Yeah, okay. So institutions are playing the long game,
Mm-hmm.
but then we've got the regulators stepping in,
Right.
like with this KuCoin case.
Yeah, big case.
I mean,
Huge fine.
a huge fine for operating without a license.
Yeah.
What are the implications of that?
Well, I think it sends a really clear message
What's that?
that regulators are not messing around.
They're stepping up.
Yeah, the Wild West days of crypto are over.
Oh, wow.
Basically, they didn't have a money transmitting license.
Money transmitted. What does that even mean?
That means they weren't authorized to facilitate
Oh.
the transfer of funds.
So, like,
Running a bank.
you can't just...
Right. Open up a bank.
Exactly.
Got it.
Okay.
Wow. And so this sets a precedent,
Okay.
and it puts all the other exchanges on notice.
Mm.
We're going to see stricter enforcement going forward.
Wow. So it's not just about playing by the rules.
Right.
You got to know what the rules even are.
Exactly.
And the rules are changing.
All the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not just the company that's in trouble.
Right.
The founders are stepping down.
Yeah.
They're forfeiting their own funds.
It's a big deal.
This is serious.
Yeah. It highlights the personal risk
Yeah.
that's involved.
Wow. Okay. So
So yeah, transparency,
compliance.
non-negotiable.
Gotcha.
Everyone needs to be operating legally.
Okay. Well, speaking of high stakes,
Right.
we got to talk about MicroStrategy.
Oh, yeah.
They're like all in on Bitcoin.
They are?
They even rebranded to just Strategy.
To signal their focus.
That's how serious they are.
Yeah.
They've got a ton of Bitcoin,
Ton.
like over 470,000.
Yeah. Wow.
And they're planning to buy more,
Even after losing money.
even after reporting losses.
It's a bold strategy.
So is this like confidence or crazy?
I mean, their goal is to get a 15% yield from Bitcoin by 2025.
15%.
Yeah, that's ambitious.
That's a lot.
They're really tying their future to Bitcoin.
Wow.
It's a gamble for sure.
Yeah, okay, so that's like
Mhm.
one end of the spectrum.
Right.
And then on the other end,
Yeah.
we've got like
Oh, yeah.
this explosion of Trump meme coins,
No way.
over 700.
It's wild.
And they're all like
Yeah, they're capitalizing on his name.
trying to ride the wave.
I
So what do you think it?
mean, it just seems like a breeding ground for scams.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
Well, meme coins are driven by hype,
Oh, okay.
speculation.
Gotcha.
FOMO. People are afraid of missing out.
Yeah.
And a lot of these coins have no real utility,
Oh, so
no underlying value,
you're just like,
just speculation.
okay, so for our listener
Yeah.
who's like trying to make sense of all this,
Yeah.
What do they need to know?
Well, cryptocurrency is evolving quickly.
It's changing fast.
It is gaining mainstream acceptance,
Okay.
but regulation is tightening.
So it's getting more serious.
Right.
Okay.
You really need to understand what's happening, like
Yeah.
institutional investment,
Okay.
regulatory actions,
Mm-hmm.
technological advancements,
In Trump.
and even figures like Trump,
Yeah.
how they're influencing the market.
Okay.
So yeah, do your research,
Research.
assess the risks,
Okay.
and be wary of hype-driven investments.
Gotcha. That's great advice.
Like,
So maybe one final thought for our listener.
sure.
How do you think this whole relationship between politics
Yeah.
and crypto,
Right.
especially with people like Trump,
Yeah.
how is that going to evolve?
Interesting question.
And what's it going to mean for the future of crypto?
Yeah. What will that future look like?
That's something to think about. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive.
Great talking with you.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course.
And we'll catch you next time.
See ya.